Hello, and welcome along to the stream tonight. I hope that everyone's doing well. Hello, Kim. How's it going? So, as you might have saw on, hello, Maurice. Good to see you virtually. Hope everyone's doing well. So yeah, I wasn't here last week. I was on holiday, so we had some time away with the family, so it was really good. But as I mentioned on Twitter, what I'm hoping to work on tonight is the Cake extension for Visual Studio Code. Now, I have just been working my way through a series of pull requests that were here. Basically, there's lots of them. So I haven't looked at the Cake extension for Visual Studio Code in a long while, right? It's been on my to-do list, but other things have gotten in front of it. But with the upcoming release of what's that? What was that? With the upcoming release of the 1.0.0 release of Cake, there's a couple of things that we would like to get done for the Visual Studio Code extension so that the things are lining up. So, have you been up to Chocolate? I was directed at Kim, so I'm going to leave it to him to answer. The what was I saying? The guidance going forward. So you may have seen. So anyone who's been watching will have seen that the Cake documentation has been getting a facelift. Pascal has basically been going nuts, and he has been doing lots and lots of changes to it for new guidance going forward. So previously, in terms of the available runners, we would have said use cake.exe. Now that guidance is changing. The guidance is changing to prefer usage of .NET Global Tool rather than cake.exe. So the website's been updated to reflect that, and what I'm hoping to do at some point, maybe tonight, we'll see how it goes, is I want to update the Visual Studio Code extension to prefer the usage of cake.tool rather than cake.exe for what it needs to do. Hello Nils, how's it going? So that's what I'm hoping to do. It's kind of come a cropper right at the start, though. To be honest, I haven't built this project in a long time, right? And I've just updated the code and pulled it all down locally, and it builds fine. But as soon as I then try to go into launch the extension, it comes up with an error saying it can't configure the task because it can't find task npm. But I'm a little bit confused as to why it can't find npm, because npm is installed and it's executable from here. So I'm a little bit confused as to what's going on there, but I don't know whether I want to let that stop. Obviously, I need to get this working so that I can launch the editor and be able to debug the extension. So what I was going to do is I was going to go and look at one that we prepared earlier. So I'll come back to what that comment is in a second while I type this in. But if I go up here and I look at Clipimage, so Clipimage is one that is a Visual Studio Code extension, that I've played with more recently. And I'm curious as to whether it's doing things in a slightly different way. And what we really need to do is update the way that the extension is built so that it actually works. So if I go into its launch.json, I'm curious to see what it's doing and seeing whether it's doing anything different. Question from Reese. Task npm could be something other than the actual npm command. Yep, it should have been specified in task.json. I'm confused by what you're saying there. there is a task.json. Okay, so what we're saying is that things have fundamentally changed as to how these things used to work. So I'm happy to get that added. So if I go to new file and say tasks.json, and let's put this in here, right? And then let's look at the launch.json that's used in this extension. Extensions we can worry about, settings but it's really the launch.json. So let's see what's going on in here. Let's take a look at this, copy this, and go into this launch.json and put this in. Failed to save, insufficient. Okay. Okay, so with those in play, if I hit F5, what does it do now? It's doing something. It's taking longer to fail, as I like to say. Okay, but we get the development host up. So that's good. And then if we look in extensions, then the Cake extension should be here. Another reason not to run git clone, sure. It only causes me a problem on this box. It doesn't cause me a problem anywhere else. Reload required. Why is there a reload required there? It's also a little bit of a misnomer for the Cake extension to be there because it's already installed. So I think that's why it's telling me there. But to rule that out, I'm going to stop debugging. I'm going to go to the extension here because I have Cake installed on my main VS host, which is this one. I'm going to uninstall it from here because cake.recipe depends on it. Of course it does. So I'm going to take cake.recipe out. And I'm going to take Cake out. Okay, so the Cake extension's no longer there. I think there's a little bit more to it than that, Maurice, if I'm honest. What I'm basically trying to rule out here is, or what the VS Code development editor should do. It should replace the Cake extension files that are in the development version with the the built version. So setting the version number is not strictly required, but to rule out any playing with or interaction between the two, I've just uninstalled it from my host machine. So now if I hit F5, and now in the development host version, I should have the Cake extension installed, but it should definitely be the runtime version, the one that we're debugging. So if I go back to here and look at extensions, now I should see the Cake one. Oh, interesting. It's still not being marked as installed, but if I do F1 and look for Cake, then it is there. Okay, so it's not installed anymore, and it doesn't actually install it as part of the debugging experience, but the Cake extension is there because it's got all of these Cake commands in here. So that's good. That's a good start. So it's running. So what we had to do there then was we had to, I'm going to get rid of these tabs I see here while I see them. Oh, that's just, can I just save that? Really? Okay, fine. I'll do it once more. That's not what I want to do. Edit, undo. Edit, undo. I'll get rid of these tabs while I see them. I don't know why the format command isn't, or the saving on the formatting on save is what I'm trying to say. I don't know why that isn't working, but That's got rid of the tabs there. I'll do it one more time. And then I'll check the task.json to make sure that it doesn't have any tabs in it, which it doesn't. Okay, good. I thought I had. Probably I haven't. Okay, but let's do this as a build commit then, and we'll get extension debugging locally. Sure. What do I get for copying and pasting things? Unable to write. What's going on? Status. Git add. Git commit. Let's do it the old school way there. Build. Get extension debugging locally. I don't know if it is, Kim. I don't know. Maybe it is. It's maybe a habit I need to get out of. But anyway, where I'm hoping to get to, regardless, I'm not going down any rabbit holes today. I'm going to stick to my task, maybe, and try and get to a point where I'm actually doing something. So where I wanted to go next was there's two or two or three PRs that are left that aren't building. There's two PRs that aren't building yet, and I want to get those building so that I can then work on what's left. But they're not building, so there's big version number jumps. So for TypeScript, it's gone from version 3 to version 4, and for HTTPS proxy, that I don't know why that one's. I can't explain why that one's not building. So I have to test them locally. I got a rabbit hole prepared. Oh, bad influence, Nils. Bad influence. PR checkout 407. Why that not work? Your token has not been granted the required scopes to execute this query. The name field requires one of the following scopes. That's new. The name field requires one of the following: read org, read discussion, but your token has only been granted the please modify the tokens. That's new. We are going down a rabbit hole, obviously. Why is that suddenly saying that? So I'm obviously on my other screen so that I don't give anything away before Maurice shouts at me for giving away security credentials and stuff. It could be. Let me check. Let me check to see what Maurice is suggesting. Let's have a wee sneaky peek here. Look up environment variables. Environment variables. Look at that. I do have one called that. So that is an incredibly good shout. So let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do a refresh env here. And it was. And then let's do this again. Nah, didn't help. Still the same thing. GitHub token. change that? How can it still have it? Environment variables. I changed that. Yeah, hold on. Let's close the shell. Open it up again. And env GitHub token. Okay. CD into C GitHub organizations cake VS Code GHPR checkout 407. Was it? Oh, look at that. That is 50 virtual points to Maurice there for that suggestion. Because it's now working. So I now have this. So I can rebase this on develop because there was one. And if I do a build here, this build is going to fail. So while that's building, I'm going to click on this link that Nils has put into the chat room. Oh no, I thought that was your rabbit hole, but that was indeed the issue. So points to Nils for the issue and points to Maurice for suggesting it. So when we run this, I suspect it's going to fail. And I suspect it's going to fail because there's been changes to TypeScript and there are now errors in the code that need to be fixed to adapt to the new way of TypeScript doing things. So this is the failure that I'm getting. And if I go in here, and I try and build it, I suspect it's going to fail. This was another pebcac. Yeah. Pebcac all the way down. Why is that not? This normally gives me a better error message as to what's actually going on. npm run compile. This is probably not a problem with npm. There are likely see. Why am I not seeing those errors in here? What does that mean? Oh, that might be because I haven't done an npm install. Maybes. This was another pebcac. However, I'm not totally sure if you are a chair. Oh, if you're on a chair or if I'm. Today I'm on a chair, so it would be pebcab, or not pebcab. It would be pebcac. The rabbit hole is 7-zip pool. Oh, hold on. What's this? Bump. So you're not experiencing issues with that upgrade, are you? No, that should just work, Nils. That should just work. Definitely. The greatest minds in open source have worked on that release, and it should just work. I'm refusing. Right, so why is this working? This shouldn't work. This should be failing, and it should not be running, but it is running. Let's just try something. Oh, activating extension. I wonder if it's only then. No, you see, it worked, and that should throw an error because I haven't got an open folder. So the extension is running. Why is it doing stuff? I'm going to delete that out folder. Maybe going to go back and I'm going to delete this one. And maybe we're going to go back and reclone this repository. Why is that still running? I'm so confused as to what's going on here. Based on what now? Hold on. What now? Dependabot cake action. A GitHub action for running Dependabot on repositories. Hold on now. Hold on now. That we're gonna go down this rabbit hole now. We can't not. How does this work? How does this work? A GitHub action for running Dependabot on repositories using Cake build. This action provides features as developed within this PR. Currently, Dependabot does not support this, and sadly, merging might take some time. In the meantime, it is possible to use the code provided in the PR. This action provides the means to do so. I thought that's a great suggestion, Pascal. You absolutely should. Use this action in your workflow YAML by adding a step with that, right? Uses that with where to look for cake files, fine. Target branch, fine. Token, auth token used to push the changes back to GitHub. Okay. This is not a real. Is that real? This is not a real Dependabot, so there's no commands. Okay, fine. If you need to rebase PR, you need to do that manually. That's fine. Check what happens when the PR is not worse than closed. Will simply be recreated every run. Okay. Most of this is shamelessly copied from there. Oh, interesting. Okay. Oh, this is phenomenal. That's absolutely phenomenal. So, so many questions. Oh, there's so much stuff going through my head right now. I'm gonna. I'll need to write it down. No, absolutely. I mean, this is phenomenal. It really is. So hold on. Where was the other link? The other link was to this one. So if we copy this one and let's go and have another proper look at what it's doing. Okay, see, I completely missed that. Bumps KitGit recipe from there. It's found the release notes. Oh, look at that. Commits. That's what was included in it. It's set. See? Okay, I'm gonna have to set that up now. Are you running this on a schedule, or are you running it when you push? Let's have a look. I'm going to assume it's not that one, and this one. It is. It's on a schedule, so it runs every day at 6 o'clock. I'm assuming that's 0600. And you've got the workflow dispatch, which means that you can trigger it as well. So if we go over here to actions, in theory, we should be able to do run Dependabot for cake, and we could run that workflow. Right, we're not going down this rabbit hole, but I'm going to put it on my list. GitHub action Dependabot cake. That's amazing. We should maybe let Jericho know about that as well, Pascal. To be fair, I copied most of it. That's fine. That's where some of the best inspiration comes from, Nils. Yes, manually submit a PR to all Cake repos to add that workflow. So that there is a small amount of conflict of interest, and that's why I'm saying we might want to tell Jericho about it, because Jericho has the Cake add-in discoverer, and that can bump dependencies, but the add-in discoverer is a little bit smarter than your average Dependabot, because it will take into account the recommended version number as well. So if currently we're on version 0.38.5 of Cake, but actually the recommended version number for Cake itself is 0.32.1, because there's been no breaking changes since 0.32.1. So if it bumped Cake itself, then there's a conflict there, because add-in discoverer will leave it pinned at 32.1, whereas Dependabot would attempt to bump it to the most new version, the most latest version. So there's a little bit of a conflict there. But where this is going one step further is it's also looking in the Cake files for tools and add-ins, and I'm assuming modules. Add-in discoverer does the same, but again, it will try to take into account the recommended version and give you a add-in that is known to work for that version as well. So there's a few things going on, but I like the integration with GitHub Actions, and that's why I've put it on the list. So anyway, rabbit hole extinguished. We've stopped that rabbit hole. What I need to figure out now is why this isn't failing, because it should be failing. Because if I run this build again, this build fails. So why does the build fail? And I wonder, am I out of date there? NuGet.org cake.vscode.recipe. So there is a newer version of that. And then, if I recall correctly, Matthias also did something else. So if I do have a look at Cake contrib Cake, no, it's not going to be in there, is it? This is in get13-OSS. This one, if I recall correctly, he did some other work, which was to bump the version of TSC that's used and a couple of other things. So I'm going to borrow this, and I'm going to go into here, and I'm going to say that we're now using version 2, and also that this is true. Save. I'm going to go back and reclone this as well. And there are repos outside of Cake contrib which can make use of this, but not add a discoverer. Agreed. So yes, absolutely. That's a very good point. Yes. Oh, that's going to break, isn't it? Really? Okay, that's going to get annoying. I'm going to reclone this repository once I get it fixed. If I get it fixed. Why is that not saving? Stop it. It opens on repos outside Cake as well, at least up to last year. Well, no, I think what Pascal's getting at there, Kim, is that Add-in Discoverer will attempt to send PRs to any add-in that it knows about. But what Pascal's saying is that any other repository outside of the Cake Contrib ecosystem that's using Cake would be able to benefit from the Dependabot GitHub action. So, for example, Chocolate GUI. Chocolate GUI uses Cake to build Chocolate GUI, and I could use that Dependabot action to look at the Cake files within that repository and have it update there, because add-in Discoverer has nothing to do with those. So yeah, it definitely has. It's definitely a good potential there. But what I said before is still relevant. I mean, Cake add-in Discoverer will still pin to that earlier, newest version based on known breaking changes. So regardless of where it would be executed, it would still give a more, what's the word I'm looking for? A more preferred version as opposed to just the latest version. See if this works this time around. Taking longer to fail. No, you see it did still fail. Oh no, now we're into the realm of actually getting errors. So this expression is not callable. Each member of the union type. What now? Okay, so let's, before we get too far down into the weeds, let's go back up a level. Let's go into here. Let's nuke this from orbit. Let's close this shell, close Visual Studio Code, continue, and we'll reclone it in a non-admin shell. No, try again. Let's get a seriously. PowerShell. Give me a non-admin PowerShell. There we go. So CD into C, GitHub, organizations, Cake build, and then once this is finished deleting, let's go to here. Let's go to here, and let's see if that finished deleting, which it did. So git clone this guy from here, cd into Cake VS Code, git remote add upstream. I knew you were going to say that. I knew it. As I was typing, I was just waiting for it. I was. Anyway, it's too late now. Git PR list. Which directory? It should use that one. And then GHPR checkout 407. And let's do some of those things again. So we're back to here. And you told me that if I use a GH fork, it will look to see if the fork already exists and just continue using that. Is that correct? I think that's what you told me last time. So back into here. Okay. I will remember. One day, in the same way that I'm going to start using git switch rather than git checkout -b, I will, seriously then, work with me. 2.0, we got there in the end. Save. We go back to here, we reborrow this one, and we do this. Okay, save that. Let's do a build here. Might need to make this bigger. It's a different window. Let's bump this a little bit. That better? Another one maybe. Properties, font, 20. That's better. So 20. Right. See if we get this building. You never know. Once 2020 goes out of the way, because 2020 has been a terrible year. Let's just see what 2021 brings. I might all just start. Who knows? Who knows? Okay, I would like to get to a point where all these PRs are merged, and then we can start actually doing what we're trying to do. So the first thing I want to do is to look at getting a new configuration added to the launch.json for when you're setting up Cake to be the build agent within your project. So right now it offers up entries into launch.json for cake.exe and for Mono. And I want to add in another one, which is the cake.tool. So Martin has already provided the necessary entry into the launch.json to make that work. We just need to add it into the extension so it automatically adds it when required. So let's see if we can figure out what on earth this error is. And am I now seeing it here? We're still not seeing it here though. So that's slightly annoying. So it's in the test folder. Test, add package test dot here. And it's saying that line 8, there's no line 8. Am I in the wrong one? I am. This one. In here, it's saying this expression is not callable. Ah, there we go. So it's now saying it. Anyone want to hazard a guess as to how to fix that? This expression is not callable. Each member of the union type blah has signatures, but none of those signatures are compatible with each other. So what it's saying there is catch I think I just need to declare what the type is for the catch. But I don't really know that for sure. So is it give me where's my light bulb that tells me how to fix it? You don't get that, do you? Peak problem? No quick fixes available. Okay. Never on rejected. Blah blah blah. No undefined promise has signatures, but none of those signatures are compatible with each other. I genuinely got no idea how to fix that. And also, this is deprecated. Actual. It says it's deprecated. Use strict equal. I mean that one's a simple fix, in that it should just be strict equal. Try adding on rejected before the parentheses. as in here. Or where are you thinking, and where did you get that information from? Oh, I see what you're suggesting. Let's maybe have a Google, shall we? So it's TS 2349. Doesn't really help. TS 349. These are old headers as well. Let's have a wee sneaky peek here and say dot catch. Do we do that anywhere else? And if we do, why is it not complaining there? So what's the difference between this one? So I think we've maybe just come to the same conclusion, have we? So in this catch, reason any. Does it like it better if I do that? Nope. Oh, because we won't use reason. That's why that's coming up. That won't work when I do that, will it? How does one get around this? I don't really want to get around it, I want to fix it. I think that's the error. To reproduce expected behavior. Fastly. That doesn't seem like it's the same thing. Let's just grab the whole thing. Let's see if it can't. That didn't copy what I wanted it to copy. Let's have a look. This workaround works. Map as array. That's off on a different tangent as well. Is there anything else in here? Catch. using a slightly different format again. It's not the actual here. Error, reject, error, error, and then it's doing the assert. Handle search response. I genuinely don't know. I want this to work. I really do. I want this to work. And then I can pull in these last two pull requests and it should work. Reason any on rejected. Result. Attaches a callback for when the rejection of the promise on rejected. Callback to execute the promise is rejected. Undefined null. Promise like T result. Is it because we're not giving it import response? Promise is something. Yeah, so do I not need to that in the wrong place? Node fetch catch TS234. I'm going to figure it out. If anybody has got any suggestions, feel free to shout them out, because I'm struggling, I'll be honest. TypeScript is not my forte. And this is coming from add package actions. So what's it actually doing? Handle search response is this. Response never, promise any, promise never. So that's saying as an input, it's looking for a response and it's going to return a promise of any and a promise of never. Check in the other catch statement if you return a value there. Could be something being expected, but so I think the issue here is that switch rabbits. No, I need to finish this rabbit. This rabbit can't go away, unfortunately. So in the other catch blocks, I think what's missing is that this handle search response has got a definition of, what is it? This one. So this is saying that it will return a promise any or a promise never. Or if it's not okay, it will reject one of those shared messages. And in here it's saying property promise of T of catch on rejected is looking for one of those promise any never should return a rejected promise. I know what I'm tempted to do, but it's so bad. So bad. Can't even find what I want to do. Comment. Toggle block comment. I'm tempted to do that and come back to it. I'll be honest. Such a terrible person. Such a terrible person. Cake build. Oh, boo. Boo. I'll create an issue to remind me to go and fix it. But I'm just tempted to say, move on. As kind of Maurice suggested with switch rabbits. Let's see what it does. Is that going to work? It did. Okay. So, having done that, it's a terrible. I feel really bad. I do. So this is going to be build use latest cake dot VS code dot recipe. Also bump version number of tools used. So that's what this was. Commit that. And then in here, we're going to say we'll undo this at the minute because that's a deprecation, but it's. And then in here, I'll put this back to the way it was as well, so that it's the same. And we'll say build comment out. We'll call it an incompatible test just now. This will need to be put back in later. Fine. And let's do a git push -f. See if we can get that build running and get it merged then. So while we're here, let's go back to our code and go into, oh, we haven't merged it in yet, so it won't be there. It won't be there until we merge it. So let's do this. GitHub, you can come away. Cake build. Let's see if it builds this time. Okay. How are things on ChocoDiff, Maurice? Are you still working on that? What's happened in the last couple of weeks? Build should be finished in about 30 seconds. If it works, we'll get it merged then. TypeScript is a build dependency. Let's set this equal to this. Let's go to me. Move. Getting close. I'll merge this PR now. Go ahead and merge this one. Which would leave potentially one remaining PR, which I think Dependabot should run off and update for us, but we'll also force it to do it. See if we can get this one merged in as well. Working on getting Git version, Git release manager implementation first. That needs to be there before we can down the release. Are you using GitHub Action, or are you going to do that as part of your, I want to say Saki, but it could be something different. Saki invoke build. Well, we were talking about doing Git tools, global tools, and using those, weren't we? I started looking at that and I haven't done anything with it, haven't I? I think I started looking at that at some point and I haven't done anything with it. It's maybe on a list somewhere. Let's see if this one's going to build for us. Git. I'm going to do it. Switch, develop. Git fetch upstream. Git ebase upstream, develop. Git push origin. Maybe. I've got, so after this stream tonight, I've got, I don't know if you saw, but .NET Conf. I'm here, so I need to do I need to prepare, or I need to finalize my talk that I'm giving at .NET Conf in a couple of weeks. So my next focus is going to be on doing that. So once this stream's complete, that's what I'm going to be looking at, because that's what I need to focus on. I need to get my slides completed for that. So I won't be doing anything else until that's done. But part of this work that I'm trying to do here is to get to a point where we can, the demo is better, so that within the demo, we're saying this is the .NET Global tool, this is how you use it, this is how you can use the extension to do it. So kind of working on this and working on the slides is kind of the same thing. What is that saying? The argument. Oh, you see, that's just. We're gonna have to. Let's see if we can fix that one. GH checkout. I don't know. PH. GHPR checkout 285. I want to get this one in because it's a security related fix. So we need to get this one working. So the file in question is get fetch options. Get fetch options. And it is line 33 in here. Oh, hold on. Well, we're currently working at work on a Zabbix Azure PowerShell module, so we can use some good Azure monitoring. Interesting. Change line 8 to be. Well, we'll come back to that because I've now just checked out this branch and I need to fix this one. I also want it to tell me what the error is, and it's currently not. Why are you not telling me what the issue is? That's okay. We'll come back to it. We've got a new one. But why are you not? That's kind of annoying that it's not giving me the error. Am I in the right file? Shared utils get fetch options. Yeah, but I just built it within VS Code as well, didn't I? So it is here. Unless I'm doing something wrong. NPM watch is background. Because they came up before, so I don't understand. I'm saying that a lot tonight. Get fetch options. I thought it would just kind of magic up, but it's not. So argument of type secure endpoint unrejected boolean is not assignable to a parameter of type string and HTTP proxy agent options. Options parse proxy. That's parsing it as a. So it's this. I wonder if this has changed. So between these versions, so we're going from there. So what's happened here? Fix compatibility with Node. Okay, but while I see this, copy. Let's go back to the other one, which was. I see you two forking. I see it. Just got a notification that you both forked this repository, which sounds promising. So where were we? We were in test. We were in actions. Shared utils. Is it this one? Forgot which file I bloody commented out now. Commits. This was test add package actions in here. So if we toggle this one and you said line 8, change line 8 to be the following. Have I done that right? Where did that done come from? Edit, undo, edit, undo. Seriously? What are you doing? Oh, I see. It's just it's wrapped around, that's why. Okay. And then what you suggested I did was put this in. There's a brace missing. Open, open, close. At the start? Oh, look at that. Okay. Let's build this. Got there, Nils, thank you. So this should still fail, but it should no longer fail with that one, but it should fail with the actual failure on this one. Oh, it bugged me too. I would have went back to it, but so next one. Types of property host are incompatible. Type string is null is not assignable to type string. Type null is not assignable to type string. All of that sounds good. So back over here on lines utils. So it's saying that because fetch options agent proxy. It's the proxy it doesn't like. So the proxy here is a string, and it's saying that this thing here no, that took us down a rabbit hole. Why do you keep taking me there? Utils, get fetch options. Not assignable to parameter of type string or HTTP options. Copy. two of them. Installation. So here proxy is that or a string. So how is that different to what I've got here? Does anyone know, Nils, maybe you know, what exactly do these three dots do? What is that? Is that casting it, or what do those three dots actually do in terms of expand the object? So the object in this case is a string. So URL is module, so that we're getting that from up here. So we're parsing a URL as a string from the proxy, which is configured from here. Okay, fine. So why then is this thing, which accepts an iHTTP proxy options object, so proxy is a string and it's returning a string. Oh no, sorry, you're right. URL with query string, which is a URL. Sorry, you're right. So it's returning a URL. So this parsed proxy is a URL. So how do I give that as a string? What do I need to do to that to give it as a string, not as a URL? Path. But then that, why does that then fail? Spread types must be created from. That's a no. If we look at the error again, you want the other. What was it? I'm not sure we're following. The other what? The what was what? The other parameter for HTTP proxy object. So that was here. Oh no, we've lost that. So this was here. Interface extends URL. Is this what you're referring to? But that's what we're creating here, isn't it? That's what we're creating here. So this thing here is an instance of that iHTTP proxy agent objects, and it's using the URL that's being expanded here and then setting the properties of, so what should work, because this currently says it doesn't, in the sense that it's saying blah 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 blah, property of type host are incompatible. string type string null is not assignable to string, and type null is not assignable to type string. So something is mismatching between the two. Now, what I don't understand is whether I need to coerce this to be something other than a URL. So is that what's changed? Where are you seeing that, Kim? Post. I see that. Look at the type definition for the interface. Look at the type as in so what do I need to kick in Visual Studio Code to get me the latest, so that what this is showing me is actually what's needed? Because clearly this is not right. What do I need to kick? What do I need to kick here so that things start to get lined up? It's thinking. So let's bear in mind that my TypeScript knowledge extends to making things work as opposed to anything else. So saying something like he has manual typings, that doesn't help. So what am I doing wrong then? It sounds like Nils sounds like Nils thinks there's something broke, something not set up correctly. So no need to apologize. Certainly not. There's a there's a butterfly stroke moth flying around my head. I thought it was my eyes going funny. Okay, so now it's telling. Now I'm getting the error. So there's a typings folder. I see that here. Yes. So where did that come from? Because I didn't put that there, or I didn't knowingly put that there. Toggle.com moral creative programmer. What now? I think I've seen that one before. But now if I go over here, constructor, seriously, it's attacking me. I don't know if it's actually coming. It can't be coming through the stream. Oh, hold on. So you're saying that? Oh, I see. So should I delete this? I think I see what you're saying now. Hold on now. I think I follow what we're saying now. I see. Okay. So should I delete this file? I'm going to delete it. So if I go here now it's coming from node modules, so hopefully this thing's now the right. There we go. Okay, so now we've got a host, a port, and a... So what do we need to do now then? Because this, how this worked before is now obviously not what we want. So I need host, maybe? I'm completely going out on a limb here now. Proxy port. So what's that complaining about? Spread types may only be created from object types. So let's take this off then. Ah, then it fell apart. Okay, so what do I need to do? Spread types may only be created from object types. I feel that we're getting somewhere. I think. I just don't fully understand what needs to be done here. Or so if we go back to here, then the interface is host or okay, hold on. Movies? No. Need to explicitly cast it. So so this is saying it's not assignable to type string null is not assignable to. So how do I make this thing a string? What do I need to do to make this a string? I'm on the cusp. I can feel it. Is there a fix for this? No quick fixes. I feel like I just want to do this, but that's not going to work. Oh, okay. I see. So it's as simple as that. So can we, what does this want? This wants a string as well. Is this good form? Bad form? What? I'll wait for some comments while I run a build over here. Seriously. This butterfly's out to get me. Don't know where it came from. Depends. Can you guarantee that they won't be null? I've no idea. Where's it even coming from? The parse proxy is coming from this proxy. This proxy, if it is, if not proxy, last proxy, return fetch options. So what is the best option? If proxy is equal to last proxy and fetch options else. So what is the what is the preferred way of doing this? Because my build works now. Check for null manually. So before doing this, but what do we do in the case of null? So what you're saying is if parse proxy dot the whole thing, or it would be the whole thing, right? So return fetch options. So fetch options is what we're setting up here. I mean, what do we do if one of these things is null? What do we return? Just null? So if parse proxy host so what do we do in this case? Do we just return null? So yeah. If either one of them is null, then a proxy agent should not be created. Granted. So if not, or not parse proxy dot port, then we want to throw Jesus. So what's this saying? Return fetch options. Oh, I see. No proxy, so ignore everything but timeout. So could we just do that? So rather than that, we just do the same as we're doing up there, which is return fetch options. How does that sound? And if that's the case, then let's put this in here. That because we're already doing that elsewhere, so I think I'm okay with that. I think I'm gonna run this build again while you tell me that's not right. Where did this thing go? Seriously. If either of the properties are null, it means that there is an incorrectly configured proxy. Agreed. So we just return the fetch options that don't have anything set. Otherwise, we set it with an agent, and it is correctly set. It would be fun if it landed. I'd freak out, man. These things are so unpredictable. Does this work? It's more scared of you than you are of it. Probably. I'm not flying about its head. It's the one that's flying. I don't know where it's going anymore. Who knows? Right. So, remove manual typings file. This is no longer required and now comes from node modules folder. So that was this one. Okay. Oh, it's back. It's now just chilling out on the wall. You can see it. What do we do here? We'll come back to that one. Build update to new interface definition. Also check for null on host and or port, and if in this state don't set agent. Okay, do that one, and then build uncomment test fix. Oh, that's fine, I'll do. Okay, git push. Have we rebased this on latest develop, git rebase on develop, have git push. So they were all additive, so we shouldn't need to force push that, should we? Don't think we should. Pick or it didn't happen. Okay, so that should hopefully now be building. So this is taking slightly longer than I would have hoped, but I feel slightly better about all of it. And it also means that there's another security related one knocked off of the PR list. But there was still a couple of alerts here, but they're not coming up with said it couldn't fix it because something else. The latest possible version that can be installed is 0.43 because another dependency is locking set value to a vulnerable version range. It doesn't tell me which one, which is really annoying. But I'm wondering if this will be fixed by this PR coming in. So let's get this one merged. Hopefully. And if we can, dun, dun, dun. How much time? 26 minutes. Might actually get on to what I'm meant to be working on tonight. Whoa. Okay, this one. It's just about there. Refresh. Force a refresh. Okay, good. Merge. Confirm. Okay, and then I want to say that it's gone down to 3, so that one's knocked off that one. So is it now going to find? Can I kick it? Started generating an automated security update. Let's see if it creates a new PR. But while that's happening, git checkout develop, git fetch upstream, git rebase upstream develop, git push origin. Okay, so if we close out some of these things, manually bump the version. So I don't think it's that simple. Whoa. I don't think it's that simple. Because in here, what was it called? Set value. Set value. In here, the problem is this one. So this one, union value, is setting it to there. So as a result, it can't take. It's just landed on my light. It's up there on my light. No, here. This one. No, it's the actual instance of it, isn't it? Dependencies on. No, yeah, union value is causing problems. But I'm hoping that the Dependabot will fix it. I guess we shall wait and see. Because I haven't knowingly went into any of this package lock and stuck it to a specific value. So it's one of the dependencies that's locking it to this 043, which as a result means it can't be bumped. And I don't really want to mess directly with the package lock.json because it's just chilling out on my wall again. Big brute of a thing. Okay, but we're not going to get down that rabbit hole. What I want to look at, let's start up pass, Maurice. If there was, Dependabot should have told me about it. So right, but if I go in here and say file, open folder, C temp cake test, select this one. So I have no doubt that there are newer versions of Maurice, but as I'm saying, my understanding of the package lock.json is that it is the locked in versions of all the dependencies based on what I'm defining in my package.json file and all of its downstream dependencies. So my understanding is that Dependabot should be looking at all of those things and then making decisions about what can be upgraded or not. So if it, as an automated process, is saying it can't do it, I wouldn't feel comfortable messing around with it. So I'm going to come back to that issue because for now I want to spend the next 20 minutes trying to figure out so if I go here and I say cake, and one of the things that we can do is we can install, which one does it? It's the debug dependencies, I think. It's done this. So what we have here is if I do this and say cake, then there's one for core CLR and there's one for mono. And what I want to be able to do is I want to put another one in there, which is cake.tool. So course, if I search here for core CLR, and there'll be lots, of course there will be. This one, configuration snippets. Yes, it's coming back to me. So there was this. So multiple ones. Who do you belong to? Initial configurations, configuration options. Initial configurations, cake.mono, and configuration options, and initial configurations for here. So the question is this one? Yes. There's two places I need to change it. The debug task, which is what's executed when you run install debug dependencies, currently creates a task and it creates an entry in the launch.json specifically targeting core CLR. and we don't want that one anymore. We want the default to be cake.tool. And so I need to update here, and I also need to update the package.json to include a new entry, which is cake cake tool. So if we look at the issues here, and we look for the one that Martin created, which is this one, then this is the entry. This is what will make it work. So what we need to do is we need to borrow this and we need to update it. So over here, I'm going to put it on here, paste. That's not going to work, is it? No, that's not going to work at all. Undo. We're going to need a new one in here. That is going to be called type. I'm fighting with something here. Cake tool. Label. Cake tool. Initial configurations is going to be something. And then configuration snippets is going to be something else. Okay. Now I'm fairly sure that are they one and the same thing? Initial configurations. Description. Oh no, it's not quite the same thing, is it? Okay. So let's say that the configuration snippet here is here, has a label that is cake debug script tool. It then has a description that is test, then has a body, which is then what I think is what's in my clipboard. Yes. But I also think we could take that out and put in this. Name. Yes. But we also need to update a few things. Okay. Configuration snippets has got. It doesn't look quite right. I don't think. Obviously, this wants to be tool. I'm not sure that is right. .NET-Cake.exe. That's also not going to be. It's also not going to be that if it's not running on Windows. So that's not necessarily going to be the right thing there either. Program. args. So those things are what they need to be, but this part I'm not so sure on. This part would couple it directly to Windows, which I don't think we want to do. But we'll come back to that one. And then the initial configurations is similar, but not quite the same. Initial configurations, paste. So you can go away this time. So that again wants to be tool. Request launch core CLR, args, debug. Okay. So if I run this, if this has worked, then in here, oh, it's activating extensions. In. Oh, there's lots of ones in there. Try that again. Come on. It's really not liking the plugin. So if I do this, and I say cake, I see it. Why is this being so slow? I want to click on that one. So then we get that thing on it. So that part's working, but I'm not convinced that this part is correct. So I might leave a comment while I think about it. In here, copy this. Hello. Using the above example, this would couple it directly to Windows, right? What is the correct thing to put in here so that it would work on both Windows and other operating systems? Within the JSON file, that's why I'm hesitant, because that would require us to put it in that knowledge into the JSON definition. So maybe let's have a quick look. VS Code package.json debuggers OS specific. Oh, here we go. Cross-platform settings and package.json. Yes, have another option with either. Interesting. Oh, look at that. We support cross-platform sections, lots of JSON. Let's see what this does then. Cross platform specific properties. Ah, okay. Ooh, that's interesting. I did not know that. That could be useful for other stuff. So that would suggest then, if we came back over here, so I think what you're suggesting there then, Kim, is this. Is that what you're suggesting? I don't have an objection to that. Well, let's put this in here like this, and let's grab this, copy. Where did my would this work? Guess we can test that. If we go back to this and let's run this again, and let's take this out, and let's do seriously. It is really slow once I start editing stuff. Really doesn't like something. Really? And it's like, I mean, like really slow. There's like a huge lag. So let's do this. So now we've got .NET Cake, blah, 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 blah. Failed, insufficient. Why is, really? Strange. But if I hit F5 within here, what does this do? And here, hopefully. Is that too slow? Might have been too slow. Still thinking, maybe. I'm currently trying to do a debug session within a deep. I think you hit a different. If this works, this is a debug within a debug. Also not clear on whether we've got .NET Cake installed. .NET Cake. What do we do? Tell you what then, let's come out of this, Let's have a new Visual Studio Code. Opened at Cake Test. File, open folder, cake test, this one. And let's test out this launch.json file that we have here. Let's see what this does. Put debug. Go away. Thinking. 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 What version of this have I got installed? .NET Tool list global. It's a reasonably new version. Okay, so that doesn't seem to be doing anything. So let's change the launch.json slightly to remove this and say here really. Try this. So there is a difference. So we do need it to be .NET Cake.exe, which would mean we would need it to be whatever the .NET Tool list global. We would need it to just be .NET Cake. So I'd need to put in Windows specific options. Okay, but I think I can do that. I think I need to fix that. I need to finish up just now though. So I'm going to say we didn't get as much done. Technically on Windows, you could probably just drop the EX prefix. Let's try it. And we'll do a quick recap. And the quick recap would be, didn't get quite as much done as I would have hoped tonight, but we did do a bunch of PRs. Nils educated me on some TypeScript stuff. That does seem to work. I'm not sure how I feel about that, but what's the actual error? I think it. I'm not sure. Could not find. Oh, there's something wrong with the path, so we'll have to fix that. I think I know what that is. I haven't got quite as much done as we'd have liked to have done, but we have now got to a point where I can make the changes to the Visual Studio Code extension for Cake that we're actually trying to achieve. So that's where I'm going to leave it. It's the issue, I don't think it's escaped it properly. So in our, if we go back to the other one, I had this problem before and I thought I fixed it, is that this isn't being escaped correctly. So what's going in isn't actually, it hasn't got, it should have that thing in it. It should have that part in it, but it's not being included for some reason. And I thought I'd fix this. It's this thing here. It needs to be escaped correctly for it to work. I need to go back and fix that. But yeah, so that's that. Getting somewhere, lots to do. But all of this is feeding into the next release of Cake, which is the 1.0.0 release. That needs to be, that flows through into the Cake extension so that, geez, oh, bloody butterfly. I've completely lost it again. I'm done. I'm going to get out of here before this butterfly tries to eat me. But thank you all for attending. Thank you for your TypeScript help, everyone. And I will see you all next week. Still waiting for if I could, I'll try and get one. I will try and get one, and I'll send it. I will put it out on Twitter. But for now, I'm done. Thank you all for coming. I do appreciate it, and hopefully see you same time next week. Right, that's me done. Bye bye.